So, have you ever looked at your computer's hard drive and felt like, well, like a few gigabytes just magically went missing? Like your PC is somehow slowly putting on weight and your free space is just evaporating into thin air? You check your files, you empty the recycle bin, but the numbers just absolutely do not add up. Well, you are not alone. Welcome to The Explainer, because today we are diving deep into the Chrome storage heist to uncover exactly who took that space and, more importantly, why. Now, naturally, when we see our storage shrinking, we play the blame game, right? I hear from skeptics every single day who relate to this exact frustration. We usually just blame our own bad habits. We point the finger at a bloated system cache. Or if you're anything like me, you probably blame those 500 browser tabs you leave open because you swear you're going to read them later. But what if I told you that your missing storage isn't a result of your digital hoarding? What if something else entirely happened in the background? Okay, let's just get right to it, because the actual culprit here is staggering. 4 gigabytes. Yeah, 4 GB. It turns out it's not your mountain of unclosed tabs eating up that space this time. It's actually Google Chrome itself. Chrome has silently downloaded a massive 4 gigabyte file directly into the user data folder right on your local hard drive. And to put that into perspective, 4 gigs isn't some tiny background cache file. That is the size of a full, high-definition, feature-length movie. And Chrome just kind of slipped it right onto your system. Which brings us to Section 1, the uninvited AI guest. Because whatever is eating your storage, it definitely did not knock before entering. Now, any healthy skeptic is going to react to this with total disbelief. I mean, what exactly is Google downloading without asking us? Well, meet Gemini Nano. This is Google's most efficient AI model, but here is the massive twist, and it's a big one. Instead of keeping this powerful AI brain far away in the cloud on their own massive servers, where AI usually lives, Google decided to park it right on your local drive. They are basically giving your specific installation of Chrome its very own localized AI brain to process tasks right there on your desk. But here is where it gets really controversial. This is what the tech world calls a silent deployment. Just think about it. If you're just browsing the web for cat memes, Chrome is silently pulling down a 4 GB AI brain onto your PC. There is no I agree button. There's no pop-up asking, hey, do you actually have the space for this? Nope. If Chrome detects that your computer meets the hardware requirements, meaning you've got enough RAM and a decent processor, it just pulls the file down automatically in the background, period. So you might be wondering where this hefty file is actually hiding. Well, you can go look for it right now. It lives in your system files inside a folder named OptGuideOnDeviceModel. Yep, super catchy, right? That highly technical name is absolutely designed to blend right into the background architecture of your software. In fact, most people only ever discover this file exists because their computer's low storage warning lights start frantically blinking, forcing them to go hunting for whatever is eating up their prime digital real estate. And that leads us to Section 2, the privacy trade-off. Because let's be real, why does your everyday web browser need a localized 4 gigabyte brain? It seems like absolute overkill just for reading the news or shopping online, right? Why force this massive footprint onto our machines without explicit permission? Well, the answer, surprisingly, is rooted in privacy. It's an incredible irony. Look, with traditional cloud AI, when you ask a tool like Chrome's Help Me Write to compose an email or summarize a private article, your data has to physically leave your computer, travel to Google servers, get processed, and then get sent back. Sure, it uses almost zero of your local storage, but your private text goes over the open internet. Now, with local AI like Gemini Nano, the AI lives directly on your machine. Your data never leaves your computer. It stays completely local and private. But the trade-off is that it eats up 4 gigabytes of your hard drive to pull it off. Of course, a lot of users look at that and say, okay, I love privacy, but 4 gigabytes is incredibly high rent to pay just to have an AI help me write an email that I honestly could have just written myself. So naturally, people go into their folders, they find the massive file, and they hit delete. Boom, problem solved, right? Wrong. Welcome to a tech support horror movie. If you simply delete that OptGuideOnDeviceModel folder, Chrome instantly detects that its AI brain is missing. And what does it do? The very next time you restart your browser, it quietly re-downloads the entire 4 gigabyte file all over again. It is relentlessly persistent. So, how do we fix it? Section 3, stopping the silent deployment. Is there a permanent get out of my house button so you can reclaim those missing gigabytes for good? Yes, you absolutely can stop this heist. But Google hasn't exactly made it easy on us. You're not going to find this toggle in your basic settings menu next to your passwords. To fix this, we really have to go behind the scenes. We have to enter what is basically the engine room of the browser, Chrome flags. Now, this is a hidden area of Chrome meant for developers and power users. It's where experimental features and deep system toggles are kept. It's powerful, it's slightly intimidating, but it is exactly where the off switch for our uninvited 4GB guest is buried. So, here is exactly how you execute the eviction. First, type chrome.flags directly into your address bar and hit enter. Second, in the search box at the top of that engine room page, you're going to type in Optimization Guide. Third, you'll see a drop-down menu right next to the Optimization Guide on-device model setting. Change that from default or enabled over to disabled. Once you do that, the browser will ask you to relaunch. And finally, step 4, now you can go back into your system files, find that folder with its massive weights.bin files, and delete it. Because you actually flipped the switch in the engine room, this time it will finally stay gone. You know, this entire situation forces us to step back and look at the bigger picture here. It really feels like we're in this bizarre era where our personal devices aren't entirely ours anymore. Like some skeptics have rightly pointed out, sometimes it feels like we're just quietly providing the local shelf space, the electricity, and the hardware for massive companies to run their AI experiments. It's an incredibly complex trade-off. We're constantly balancing speed and absolute privacy on one hand against local storage space and data usage on the other. For some people, having a lightning-fast, highly private AI assistant running locally is literally a technological dream come true. But for most everyday users, that 4 gigabytes of space is valuable real estate they would much rather keep for their own memories, games, or, actual high-definition movies. So where do you stand on this massive tech trade-off? Is unparalleled local privacy worth sacrificing your hard drive space? I challenge you right now, go hunt for that file on your own machine. Check your Chrome data folders. If you realize you've been hit by this silent deployment, I want you to comment 4GB down below so we can see just how widespread this really is. Thanks so much for diving deep into this explainer with me today, and keep asking questions about what's really running on your machines. Catch you next time.